I'm excited that you're joining us tonight because this theme of love.more.2024 couldn't be more timely in the world in which we live. And I thought it would be a great time to take a quick look back as we're heading into Valentine's Day for one of the most thought-provoking love and stuff episodes to date. For me, it's thought-provoking because it gives an opportunity for everybody from any walk of life to experience a pathway, maybe a new one, to love. It's utilizing the 36 questions that lead to love, a psychology experiment from many decades ago that is again getting attention and gaining traction globally. You will meet some of the love and stuff staples in this replay content, and listen closely because you may hear and see yourself in these questions and in these interactions where people who don't know each other very well, but some who are familiar with each other, go into a breakout room on Zoom and ask these 36 questions that lead to love. Are you ready? You might have to get your popcorn. It's an exciting time as we talk with Tasha Green, Darren Williams, Valencia Etner, Bilal Muhammad, ladies, he's now off the market, and Christina Smith, who I believe might also be off the market. These questions must lead somewhere, right? Tune in, click share, and tag someone who might be open to using some questions that you will ask to build emotional closeness. Stay tuned. We are live on Love and Stuff, and we have two of our community members and a few others that will be joining us very shortly from what is, I think, going to become a very interesting moment in the history of experiments within the Love and Stuff community. 36 questions that lead to love. And if you watch us, you have seen that we presented this in a different format, a small truncated version of this. And we decided to do the entire experiment in a two-part series as we lead up to Valentine's Day. So we thought it would be a fun experiment, if nothing else, to see whether or not these two lovebirds who some 30 years ago, young psychology students, who did an experiment as strangers asking each other questions, and they fell in love and decided, what is this mystery around love? And can we crack this mysterious code around love and find out whether or not there is some magic pathway to love? And so, along with other psychology students, they conducted a full-scale experiment and put two strangers in a room and gave them a list of questions to ask sequentially to see if there was this instant intimacy. And so some 30 years after that, it went viral again. And so we thought that we would bring it to the Love and Stuff community to see, hey, if these are 36 good questions that you can ask, you can get on the bus and ask these questions to the bus driver or the person sitting next to you, or you can start them in an elevator ride, or in my favorite place, the grocery store. That's right, my favorite place. But you could start to ask these questions to see whether or not people would open themselves up to you, and whether or not there was more than the surface connection, whether or not it delved into something more deep. And so we asked some of our mainstays in our Love and Stuff community, some of our great folks within our community, to go into break rooms this evening as a first part of the series and ask each other the 36 questions. They were given just about an hour to do that, ask each other the questions, and then we would rotate among those groups. I'm going to say to the brothers, I don't feel like you have represented, but Darren represented for you, okay? He and Bilal represented what up? What up? From the D, okay, from the D. I don't care if he is in Oklahoma, he's from the D. What up? No, but they represented. But we had several other brothers whose names I shall not call in the interest of love, because I love you. I won't call your name, but I'm going to say that it takes more than just Darren, who, by the way, is, here he is, an intelligent, good-looking brother. Now they're coming in. Bilal, intelligent, good-looking brother. We need more than just the two of them. Of course, they'll probably love to rotate to all the ladies, but that ain't the name of the show. That ain't the name of the show. That ain't what this show is about. But we wanted to put two strangers, and they have met each other mostly through Facebook, but they're really strangers in the sense that they don't know a lot of background about each other. And so we wanted to put two people in the break room, which is what we did, for them to have conversation, really to answer the 36 questions. And so let me just jump. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm not on LinkedIn. I forget where I am. I'm on Zoom. And so I'm looking at both the Marcus R. Holmes page, and I'm looking at the Love and Stuff page. So I see you there. I see Jervis Canty, who helped me with my first live that I did on Instagram. So thank you, Jervis. I appreciate you. Jervis Canty and friends, you want to watch him. Lamar Johnson has joined us. Karen Poole, happy belated birthday, has joined us. Lena Brown has joined us. All right, thank you all for joining. I know that you're clicking, sharing, tagging some folks to join us in the discussion. We have Valencia Etner, Mama V. We have Darren Williams. We have Christina Smith. We have Tasha Green, who I call Love. We'll talk about that later because I love her cinnamon rolls, brothers. I don't know if that's I don't know if you should know that because then you're going to be inboxing her, but okay. And then Bilal Muhammad, my brother, my pilot who flies high. Thank you all for participating in this experiment. This is part one. And of course, we envisioned that it would be 2 hours that you get to rotate around, and we'll have 2 hours between now and next week. Did you have any trepidation or concern about going into this break room one-on-one? Can you raise your hand and then you unmute yourself and speak? Just, as you're speaking, just remember we're on Zoom, so you got to kind of wait for the delay a little bit, as you're engaging. But show them one more time. Raise some hands. You were like, I don't know about this. Okay, I got one hand, 1.5.
Not.
What'd you say, Darren?
Not trepidation for me. It's just the being prepared thing. I wondered if I needed to be ready before I studied the questions before I went in and did it, but I was cool with it.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great point because you would be as ready, I think, for this as you would be if you met a stranger on the street. So you are ready. You are check intelligent, check black, check handsome, check from Detroit. All of those are plus signs, right? And so therefore, when you hit the airport or you hit the runway or wherever you hit, you're ready. And that's the kind of thing I wanted. I didn't really want you to study the question so you'd be like, let me see what angle I can ask this in. I really wanted it to come from some guttural place that connected with some other guttural place to say, this is organic, or this is creepy, or this is not. Or I'm learning something about myself, which I'm just so anxious to hear all of that from you. So a couple of you had some concerns. What did you think would happen in a break room with just two people? Because I couldn't record it. Dog, I wish I could have, but I couldn't record it. So I almost said Love. Tasha, what was your concern about being on a one-on-one? Did you feel like you were on a date? What did you feel like?
Well, the first thing that I thought about was Love and Stuff. So I thought you was trying to matchmate. So that's why I was kind of apprehensive on going in at first. But once I got in there and started talking, it was fun. I mean, I enjoy having a conversation and answering the questions. So it wasn't nothing that I thought it was going to be.
Okay. All right. That's good. Okay. So, and I told Tasha, no, it's not this is not the love making event. I'm not saying that I won't do one, but this is not it. This, I'm testing the test. I'm saying, okay, this worked for a psychologist in a different time. Does it work today? And if it does work today, we should be handing these questions out so that people get over the fear of meeting strangers, because my premise is that love connection could be the person that you're willing to pass by. It's about that risk that I think you heard Darren talking about last week, Valencia talking about last week, and Christina to some extent. You got to take a risk. And so if you got some questions to ask, maybe you'll ask them. Let me ask Bilal. You raised your hand kind of sort of, so a little bit concerned about being one-on-one with these beautiful ladies.
Well, Marcus, I try to stay private. So, okay. I'm like, okay, wow. So now I have to open up and pretty much to somebody who I really don't know. I got to tell them about me, And so I was a little apprehensive about opening myself up to having somebody who I really don't know, who I haven't had the chance to, run a background check on or something, know more about me.
So it was like not having the upper hand.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. It was.
I love it. I love it.
I'm coming in at a disadvantage because, again, I didn't read the questions again to prepare and study. I said, I'm going to take this as a, if we're just meeting.
Okay.
So that means I had to think on the spot what I was going to say. So I didn't have that rehearsed answer that I would have loved to have rehearsed, but no. So that means I had to be honest, with my responses.
I'm so glad you were. And I would hope that when you meet someone as beautiful as any of these three ladies on the street, you would be honest, right?
Absolutely. I'm still going. I'm waiting.
You wouldn't be like, no, yeah. You know how sometimes you're lying and your head is going because it's a natural inclination to be in accordance with what your heart is saying. You're like, no.
Absolutely.
No. Okay. All right. Absolutely. So I want to ask this question.
Can I, brother Marcus, right quick, just shout out to brother Bilal for showing up. We represented, Doc.
Yep. I love it. I'm proud of it, and we're gonna have to get the other brothers in a breakout room and break them out. We're gonna have to help them out because I think it speaks volumes to your willingness to just be open. And I don't think you're gonna walk away and say it was the worst thing I did, because really you had the privacy of a break room. I didn't want to take it live because that's the pressure of the world watching, right? And that typically doesn't happen as much. I mean, you might have somebody at the next table watching and seeing your behavior and say, oh, they just mad. But you won't have an entire group of people watching. So I wanted it to be as natural as it possibly could, given, our environment. Of course, if I had my druthers, this would be somewhere live in some city of love, and I would have flown you guys in to meet without any preparation.
Yes,
so
that would have been wonderful.
You just breathe on it because it can happen. It can happen. We need the sponsorship. It can happen. And James Edwards and Tiff Thomas have joined us. Thank you so much. Click share and tag someone to join us in the discussion. So I want to ask you this, and I'm gonna go around the room and give you the opportunity to do more talking than I am, because I'm excited about the experiment. It almost makes me want to go back to school. I'm excited. But did anybody get the sense that somebody was giving a canned answer or a rehearsed answer? Did anybody get that sense with anybody?
Nope, I didn't.
Okay.
No.
All right, good. Did anybody feel the pressure to say something that wasn't quite the whole of the answer?
No.
Christina.
Well, no.
Christina, you're on mute. What did you? What was? Do you remember the question, or what was it that made you say, "Do I want to tell you that?" Wait, hold on. What was that?
Yes. Bilal asked me a question. Let me get my specs on here. And it was about what is it? I wish I had someone with whom I could share blank. And I was like, ugh. I mean, I'm single.
Stuttered a little bit.
She my friend.
I said, is this a PG, a X-ray? Where we going with it? I had to figure out where we was going with the question, because I was like, well, I'm single, so there's some stuff in there that I don't know if you want to hear about. So I didn't know. I didn't know if I needed to be light with it or heavy with it.
And so let me ask you, were you light with it or heavy with it?
I was medium.
Okay. Bilal, would you agree she was medium?
I was medium.
She was medium.
Okay.
I can tell that she wanted to say a little bit more in the beginning because, we first said that, well, when we introduced each other or whatever, she was like, I like to talk and blah, 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 and this, and I got my opinions. But then that question came up and she was kind of like, she almost choked a little bit. I said, wow.
I said I had to get my fan out. Let me go get my fan.
Oh, okay. And so, Bilal, what was your response to that? How did you feel about that medium? Were you looking for it to be more or less, or how did you respond to that?
Well, you're respectable. So however she wanted to answer that question, that's how you let her answer that question. Because then, we had more time, it probably would have led to a different question, to have somebody open up. So, I mean, it was perfect.
Okay.
But I think so. What we did is that, which I appreciate Bilal doing, is that he went to his answer for that question. So it wasn't like we didn't have a lot of time, but we didn't go back and forth with why or why would you say that. It was more like, oh, okay, well, I want to answer the same question. This is what I would do. So yeah, because I was thinking like, it's a lot. If you're a single woman, that's a heavy question.
Yeah, I think it would be a heavy question for a single man too, depending.
Absolutely, it is.
Yeah,
true.
It could be heavy or light, depending on how you roll it.
True.
Yeah.
And it was tough to answer that question with Valencia and also Tasha, but at that point, I'll be honest, I had practice with those two, and
So I want to ask Valencia and Tasha and Darren, was that a tough question? Is that a question that made you say, how much do I really want you to know about my light, medium, heavy? Or did you have similar thoughts, or what were your thoughts?
It was for me, but I just went in there light with it.
Mm-hmm.
Not really giving no thought on what my answer was going to. I just answered it, but I was feeling more like what Christina said.
You were feeling heavy, but you thought, I better tread light.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And okay, because I would hope, the heavy version would be okay if it opens the way for you to be more open, which I think is what the exercise is about. But I understand when you're first meeting somebody, you're gauging whether or not you can share certain information, right? Was anybody getting to the place where you felt like you could share anything with the person that you were talking with?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, very good. So I want to go back and double back because, I'll be asking questions on top of questions. I asked Tasha and Valencia and Darren, that question hang you up at heavy, medium, light? Were you hung up there at all?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. You're on mute, Darren.
Which question? Repeat the question again. Which one?
So it was the question about, read it again, Christina.
The question is, it says, complete this sentence. I wish I had someone with whom I could share blank.
Oh, no, no trouble with me.
Okay. All right. Okay, good. So let me ask you, what question number was that, Christina?
That was set 3. And that's question number 2.
And
did you breeze through the first set of questions?
No.
Did you feel like those were easy, or you felt like you learned some good information about the other person?
Yep.
Okay. Anybody else?
We tried to tackle every area just to kind of mix it up.
Yeah, I know that you guys had a little truncated time, but really you're supposed to do it sequentially. So you're supposed to do it in order from top to bottom.
We did.
Okay.
But that's what I mean. We of course, because of our time, but we did through 1. We did so many in 1, 2, and 3. But yeah. But I agree. Like the first 2 sets are a little bit of let me get to know you a little bit more better, and then 3 kind of dives in a little deeper. Yeah, that's how.
Three's deep.
So great question. Now I just want to ask this, then I want you to go around and tell me which questions stood out to you or what your conversations were. By the time you got to set 3, were you ready to dive in? I mean, into the deeper. Let me qualify what I'm saying. Were you ready to get more deep into the conversation?
Yes.
Okay. Nobody was putting on brakes at that point, just trying to get through the motions. At the third set, you were like, you were really intent and learning more and experiencing more.
Marcus, what the questions does or do, set 1 gets you talking to your partner. Set 2 kind of gets you comfortable answering those questions. And set 3 allows you to dive in a little deeper. So because how they're arranged, it allows you to, have a progression because, again, I was going to be guarded but I found myself, answering the questions.
Got it. Yep. That's how they're designed to get you to let your guard down.
Absolutely.
So I'm just wondering, how low was your guard by set 3? Maybe I'll ask it that way.
But brother, my guard wasn't that low though, but still, you know, it was low enough.
Low enough, finish the phrase.
Finish the phrase. Well,
low enough for what?
It was low enough that if that allow you to say, okay, if I'm interested in this person, I will pursue it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Anybody else have a different take on that third set? Low enough for?
Try to avoid the third set. I'm gonna be honest, because like you said, it did dive pretty more deeper because, like, but I was saying, it kind of is like, okay, you know, I like what I'm hearing so far. Let me get a little more information as far as their emotional state, their mental state, you know, things like that. So you have to kind of stop and, like, I think with me and Bilal, I was like, let me, you know, I was doing this, and then I had to kind of ask myself the question, because you, those are not questions that you can just blurt something out. I'm gonna just say that you have to really think in set 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I think it's built that sequentially to get you there, so that you wouldn't be at a place where you would just blurt it out, right? You let down your guard, you're starting to think a little bit more intently, and you're starting to be willing to share because you think there's a good exchange medium for the information and value that you're going to get back. It kind of is trying to build some vulnerability, but some trust, right? And so if you didn't have that and you went straight into set 3, you're gonna be like, how you gonna ask me that? But as you're going down this path, it tries to open you up so that you'll say, let me think about if I should go all the way in with this answer.
Welcome to Powerful Money Tools, LLC. At Powerful Money Tools, we are here to prepare for your future. We want to talk about financial freedom. Financial freedom is budgeting, credit building, and also financial education. So once again, welcome to Powerful Money Tools, LLC. We can't wait to help you in your financial future.
Yeah. Which is
and you know, for men, we're not the greatest communicators if you have to compare us to women. Women communicate better than men because they communicate their feelings and their emotions better than we do. We're more analytical. That's just my take, okay? Boom. But so Valencia and I was first. And so by us going sequentially through the questions, you know, I got a comfort level with her that I answered the questions and felt safe.
Got it. And you know, I got your boom because, you know, I think a little differently. I think we're great communicators, but our language is different than women.
Our language is different. Absolutely. Yes.
We're communicating all the time. I tell sisters all the time.
Absolutely.
He has told you if he wants to smash, cash, or rash. He's told you what he wants to do from day one.
Dash. Don't forget dash.
You're correct, though. Yeah.
He's told you from day one. You just don't understand his language. His language is clear if you understand it, right? Mm-hmm. But women are typically more expressive. That's what that is. We're trained not to be expressive for the most part. That's why there are fewer men in acting and singing than there are in sports and other places, because we're taught different methods for expression. So I think you're communicating to Valencia when you enter the room with her, whether or not you like her, and she's sage enough to pick that up. I'm just saying for the room. So I'm saying, okay, so let me go to the comments real quick. Karen says, thank you, Karen. You're gonna be a good helper. She's the one. I gotta hire you. I gotta hire you.
Yes, you do. You want to.
Jay Gerald.
That's my child. That thing.
Jay Gerald is supposed to be in the room. Oh, I told on him. I'm sorry. Okay. Mike Flanoyo is here. Thank you so much. Casey Smith, thank you so much. Tiff Thomas, thank you so much. Tanya Bunchy Mills Steins, thank you so much for coming. All right. Shatana Daniel, thank you for coming. Zach Carr, thank you for coming. Appreciate all you can help you with share. We're talking with Valencia Edner, Darren Williams, Bilal Muhammad, Christina Smith, and Tasha Green is Runaway. I think I scared her when I said smash, rash, and all that stuff. Okay.
You scared me.
I scared you. Okay.
I had to get my fan. I started getting hot.
Yeah. I just think we communicate very differently, and women sometimes miss it. And they're like, I don't know how he feels about me. I say, no, honey bunches of oat, you're not paying attention.
Correct.
Not paying attention to how he feels about you.
Correct.
As soon as you pay attention, you will command the authority that your jewel brings.
Mm.
Come on, brothers, help me out.
Amen.
Amen. All right. I just needed one. Okay, so I want to hear from you. What questions resonated with you? What in your conversation made you say, this is different, or this is awkward, or this is great, or I would use this, or I wouldn't? Whoever wants to start.
Let me just say this. I think that part 1 and part 2, if you get through those and you are like, okay, all right, by the time you get to 3, it's okay. Because you've already been at, okay, that first set of questions is like, okay, it's trying to get in there. So you kind of get over that. Then by 2, you're kind of ready for what they are, because now you've seen them. And as somebody said, it's really more than 36 questions, because it's it's more questions. It's like 2 questions, a lot per question. So getting through those and starting to open up about things in your past, in your childhood. And when you can do that and it doesn't feel, unsafe, yeah, when it doesn't feel like, oops, I better not, then by the time you get to 3, it's like, we either gone, if we go back to surface here in 3, then that means 1 and 2 revealed something.
Got it.
But if we're ready to open up in 3, then that means 1 and 2 reveal something.
Got it.
And
Got it.
Yeah.
And so were there any questions in particular that rung out to you, that stood out to you in any of the sections, Valencia?
I think the one that was the most have to drop your guard and be really, really, really sure about what you thought and felt was when you had to go back with those 5 different things about somebody, about the person. That was not, that wasn't for the faint of heart. You gotta know what you're thinking. You gotta know what you're feeling. You gotta know if you're feeling anything, because otherwise it becomes very, very surface. It becomes very, very, I like your shirt, you gotta, and the we questions, that we are in this room, blah, 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 blah. That one right there, that's the opening. That is a major opener, right? Those 2 questions right there. Those are something else.
Okay. All right. Who else wants to go next? Not everybody at once.
What are you asking for this time?
What resonated? And wait, I want to make sure, because Valencia, I think you're talking about, tell me the first question that you said.
The first question is that I said was, let me go back to my notes because that's where they are. The first question, and both of these I think are in 3.
No, the 5 things one is.
5 things is in 2, huh?
Yeah.
Is it alternate, share something you consider a positive characteristic of your partner?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, that's near the end of 2.
Okay.
And then the first one is that 3 is make 3 we statements. For instance, we are in this room feeling blah, 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 blah.
And those were ones that really resonated with you, because you had
what I'm saying is they make you have to be open. Otherwise, they become an exercise in futility. So if you're not going to be real about those questions, then that answers a whole bunch of questions. That's all.
Okay. Got it. Got you. Okay. Thank you for that. Who is next? Darren, were you going next now that you understand what I'm looking for?
Since you called me out, yeah, I'll go.
Oh, okay.
And let me say something else too. another question, which is different for me coming into what now for me is a familiar space. I'm cool. I know the faces, I know the people. And so it didn't take me to go through sections 1 and 2 to get comfortable with talking or ready to talk at a deeper level. And especially because talking with my conversation partner, the first section, we became really transparent and open. And so by getting to section 3, it was, let's talk. Look, we here. We've been talking.
Yeah.
So question that may have stood out, which made me share at a unusual place, was asking about, I think it was a treasured memory.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, what is your most treasured memory?
Okay.
And you know, you have to go in for that. You got to go deep for that.
Mm-hmm.
And to feel like I could share what I shared and not appreciate it, because we throw appreciation around so loosely that it's almost meaningless anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But me sharing that treasured memory and it being valued
mm-hmm.
by my conversation partner.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that made the ability to communicate and still go deeper even more.
I want to ask you 2 questions as follow-up to that. One, as you're communicating, I'm wondering, how did that make you feel? Can you describe how that made you feel?
Sure. I got very emotional myself because, again, it's a deep, very personal memory that I was sharing.
Mm-hmm.
And to have somebody to, empathy is what it's called, but to meet me at that place,
Mm-hmm.
and the support even that came from
Mm-hmm.
having shared it, the value that was given to it made me feel valued.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. I felt that. I wanted to pull out something was there.
You
that
pulled it. You pulled. You're a great puller.
That's what they tell me.
Question 2. You said 2. Follow up.
Tell Oprah I'm a great puller, so we can take it right on.
All right, I'll call her when we get off of here.
Thank you so much. Do you feel that you said the faces are familiar? The space is definitely familiar. And that I love, Darren, not just because I value having you in the community, as I do all of you, but I want people that come here to feel that the space is familiar enough for them to want to come and be a part. That's one of the things that's most important to me as a community, is that people feel a part and they feel like it's a place away from home that they could be. I feel that wherever Valencia would live throughout the world, I could go there and feel at home. Why? Because of our relationship, right? I want people in Love and Stuff to feel that same way, whether they're in a breakout room with any of you or in the main room. I'll call it the main room. But you said it's a familiar space. Would you have felt that same way? Because I don't know if you've met Tasha formally, or I don't know if you've had a conversation with Christina, except from being on the live with her. Do you think that familiarity is more because you've seen more of Valencia on? Or do you think, and how do you think, because you haven't had your space and time with those 2 yet, I'm wondering, for the future, I'll be looking for that comparison. Did you feel that same familiarity?
For sure, have seen Valencia more and presented with her. And so I know definitely that has created a certain comfortability with her. The difference I could only know had I ask and answer questions with the other 2.
Got it. And let me just jump in here. Daddy Mike Lawrence has joined us. Thank you, sir. Andrea Williams has joined us. Thank you so much. Thank you, Karen, for pinning the spot. No, Jay Gerald, I wasn't calling you out. I know you on here. Yes, I was calling you out. Charmaine Walker Sutton, thank you for joining us. Vonda Langford Allen, thank you so much for joining us. I hope all of you will click share. We're talking with Valencia Etner, Darren Williams, Tasha Green, Christina Smith, and Bilal Muhammad about 36 questions that lead to love. And I don't know if they've led necessarily to love, but they lead in somewhere. And I love where we're going with them so far. And so it's an experiment from 2 psychology students over 30 years ago who fell in love and built this research based on an instantaneous kind of intimacy or building relationships with strangers. And so I wanted to put it to the test in the Love and Stuff community, because if it's good stuff, you should take it with you when you're going to meet strangers, and you will eventually meet strangers, right? You'll meet somebody who might be the opportunity that you have been awaiting. All right. So I'm going to move on through the room. Other questions that resonated with you? Who's going next? Tasha, Bilal, or Christina?
Me.
Okay.
We were in set 2. Set 2 had me kind of talking more, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as what do you value most in a friendship? Because we both had different things, and obviously you want to be a friend with your partner, so you want to know what is the value. And I was saying loyalty, and Bilal was saying honesty, because if you're honest, you're gonna be honest about your loyalty. It's gonna come out eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But I was saying, like, you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your family. So, there's a reason why you value that friendship, because you pick them for a reason, or that partner for a reason. They have something that you want, that you might not get somewhere else. So that is important to me, as far as that being a question to be asked to each other. The other one was, we were talking the love and affection. Thank you. Yes, because he knew I was struggling. The love and affection. Where is that one? Where you basically are trying to figure out who is in your life that you share the love and the affection. And I had to kind of convert to my kids, because that's where I share most of my love and affection most of the time, because I'm single. But definitely that's something that might be important to somebody, that you're showing, love and affection to people in your home or things like that. So those were very important to me, because I would want to know that about that person that I would be spending time with.
And I just want to make sure your questions are, what does friendship mean to you? And what roles do love and affection play in your life? Those were the two.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure. I want to clarify for our audience, because they won't have this document. And I'm not going to go through all of the questions for our viewers, because 1, I want you to tune into part 2. And 2, everybody in the room hasn't had the chance to have their breakout with each person. So I don't want them answering all the questions, then they won't need to keep participating. And then we're going to give the space for some of you that would be interested in participating to join in this as well. Okay. But I don't want to just go through all of everybody's answers, though there are some questions I do want to find a little bit more about. All right. So that leaves Bilal and Tasha. Who's next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
So it was one question I had to skip over, and that was your worst memory. And that is just because,
You had to skip over it?
Yeah. I asked, can we just skip over it? Because, I'm a big crybaby. I didn't want to show no emotion. So
let me ask this. You are a super uber emotional person.
I am.
Why would you not want someone to see that, where that might be? What do you think seeing that means? Maybe that's a better question. Why wouldn't you?
Well, me showing anybody that I'm meeting for the first time, I don't like showing my vulnerability right then. You know what I'm saying? Or showing that, I just don't like showing that side of me. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask why?
I don't know.
Okay. Fair answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd love for you to explore that some more.
Well, maybe I guess it's to the point, we're going to leave it at, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd love you to explore that some more later, just to find out why. It might be worth an ask. Okay, yeah. So that's interesting. Let me ask you this, Bilal.
Talk to, and by the time we got to the second,
let me ask Bilal a follow-up to that. When she wanted to skip over that, did that raise any anything for you?
Not really, because that question I don't like to answer either. So it kind of played in part that's like, hey, I don't have to answer that question myself. So let's keep it going.
Got it. And I know I'm delving into your time with Darren, but Darren, would that raise any kind of flag to you if someone said, let's skip a question?
Not necessarily.
Okay. All right. Okay. Tasha, go ahead. I just wanted to gauge it.
I was an easy person to talk to when it came to all the questions, but I do feel like the second set of questions, it does give you to the point where you're opening up a little bit more. We really didn't get too much into the third set, I don't think, because he was the ones asking the questions, so I wouldn't have to keep going in and off the screen.
Okay. So y'all didn't get too deep into the third questions.
Right.
Okay. I want to explore that in a minute. Let me ask Bilal, what's your questions that stood out to you?
Well, what do you value most in a friendship? That's important to me.
Okay.
Because I believe a relationship starts with, creating friends first.
Okay.
And of course, Christina already talked about it, but where does love and affection play, in your life? And then my other question was, I wish I had someone with whom I could share, Those are my questions.
Did you go medium light? Did I get your answer? Did you go medium light or heavy there?
Okay, so it depends on the room.
Medium light, heavy, depending on who was in the room. So I'm
absolutely.
I'll leave
absolutely.
That okay, I'll leave that there. Let me ask this. Now, how come we didn't get to the third set of questions?
Well, Valencia and I, we got to the third set of questions.
I'm sorry, you and Tasha.
Oh, well, I think because our time, we didn't just ask the question, keep boom, boom, booming. I mean, we expounded on some of the answers.
Okay.
So, we found out that we stayed in the same neighborhood as well. I think Valencia as well. I mean, so we had some other things that came up that allowed additional conversation.
Okay, so you spent too much time on the other stuff that you didn't get to three.
No, sir, we were productive, but we just allowed the questions to evolve because one question led into another, question of interest.
I understood. And at the outset, I was saying that when you get to that place, you got to put a pin in it to keep going.
And we brought it back, but
but not to the third set.
Because I didn't know nothing about the cinnamon rolls, first of all. So obviously I didn't ask the right questions.
You don't even know how to do this if you don't know about the cinnamon rolls.
See what I'm saying? I got to do this over again. So
yeah. You didn't, somewhere in the what role does love and affection play? You didn't get the right answer. You didn't spend no time there. Okay. All right. So a couple of the questions from a couple of the sets. I want to know if anything made you go, how you hear an answer and you go, I wasn't expecting that answer. Did anybody experience any of that along this way where someone answered the question, you were like, oh, I wasn't expecting you to say that? Please share.
One question. And it was the question that asked, let me see if I can find it. Wow, let me see. It was kind of early too. Let me see.
So,
do you remember?
Can we ask Valencia, who is it, me or are we talking about Darren?
It's Darren. You didn't surprise me that much, but this one, I wasn't expecting that.
Okay.
Let me see. It's one of those questions about about like what do you wish was different? What do you wish was? Yeah, do you remember the question?
I'm sorry, I was muted. If you could wake up tomorrow having gained any quality or ability, what would it be?
Was that it?
That one?
It's the one that you answered.
If
Remember?
if you knew that in 1 year you would die suddenly, would you
Nope,
change
it's
anything?
not that one.
Okay.
If you were going to become a close friend with your partner.
No, this is about his answer. Let me remember what my answer was. Okay, I know what my answer was. So now let me see. No, it wasn't that.
If you could, the crystal ball question, tell the truth about yourself or your life, the future, or anything else, what would you want to know?
That was it.
Okay.
Okay.
That was it.
And his answer surprised you. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell us the answer.
It was good though. It was really good. It just went to a place I wasn't expecting.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it was great.
Did it open you up more?
It resonated.
Okay. And for you, is that opening you up more?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All
well,
right.
Well, maybe brothers need to hear the answer so we can learn.
Well, if you didn't give the answer, you've already learned.
Don't do it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do not do that. Don't do that.
Okay.
But let me just say this. There are some things in your life that are part of your passion that sometimes when someone asks you a personal question, you don't think to go there. And I was thinking personal and he was thinking global. And because he went global, it showed me something else. That's all.
And I'm saying, and that opened you up. Did that you start to see him globally in a different light? Slightly. You said
I just began to see that there was a similarity about how we felt about that area, that issue.
Okay, gotcha. Did anybody else have any aha moments? I'm auditioning for Oprah. Aha moments.
All day. But see, there was a lot of those. Because when you start talking, see, and I have the benefit of having had the conversation with both gentlemen. And that's unlike anybody else on the panel here. Okay. So what I do know is this, is that 6 degrees of separation thing is really right, is real. You know, finding the connections are, you know, just, and things that would never come up if you were not answering these questions.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I love that because I want the viewers to hear that these conversations can lead you down many paths of epiphany, maybe.
Epiphany, awareness, opening some boxes that you might not have thought you were going to open. Not necessarily all the way to Pandora, but, you know, opening you up to some things that you didn't even realize were that important to you.
Got it.
But the questions made you look at it. And it made you look at where you are about that. You know, it's just like when Christina said, you know, how am I supposed to answer this? Am I supposed to go all the way there, or am I supposed to be? But what it does is it lets you know that there's all the way there to go to.
Yeah.
You know, that you might not have thought that you were even dealing with, but you asked me a question like that. What do you mean if I had something I could share? You know who you're talking to. You know, so, you know, things like that.
Yeah. Anybody else have any aha moments? Questions similar to what Valencia is describing?
I think with short time we had, Bilal and I had, it was both of us kind of had an aha with the if you were going to become a close friend with your partner, please share what would be important for him or her to know. Because important is the key word. So I believe Bilal said his vulnerability isn't all the way there. He's not vulnerable. he's willing to be, but it's tough for him. So kind of like to tell me, you know, I can go there, but give me a minute.
Okay.
Versus I'm not about to just be vulnerable. Like, give me warm up time. Yeah. Give me time to kind of ask a couple more questions and get to know each other a little bit more versus somebody that has no problem with being vulnerable right off the cuff. Yeah. So,
and how does that land on you, Christina? That not quite vulnerable. How does that land on you?
It could be a challenge only because I am, but at the same time, I think because he expressed it, you now know that you can take it a different way. You can do you know now that he's not very vulnerable. So okay, I won't create the scene for him to be so vulnerable. You know what I mean? So sometimes we put ourselves in a space that the other person has to be vulnerable. And if they're not, you're disappointed. So now that he's saying, okay, well, listen, let's do this first, and then I'll be able a little bit more comfortable. And I believe it was mostly the answer was geared around bringing the wall down, and not all the way letting them have it because he was hurt before. Okay, so a lot of women do that, a lot of men do that. So it depends on how much you want that, how much you really want to get to know them, how much you really want to show them that you are affectionate, that you can be a good friend, that you are a listener. Are you willing to break through that? Is this person, you know, that you're trying to get to know, are they worth you trying to go that extra mile? Or is it not just the worth? It's just, okay, well, I'm just not comfortable with that because of what has happened to me in the past. Gotcha. So sometimes for me, I guess, and to be honest, I've had that before, but then I pushed through it only because I'm curious. Gotcha. Like, would this person be, can I bring that wall down a little bit? And then if I see that we have a little chance, you know, give them the opportunity to get to know me more better. So I appreciated that though, because you don't want to just dive in and make them vulnerable.
Gotcha.
Hi, my name is June Rochelle, and I own Detroit Couture. We are a fashion-forward women's boutique, and we offer friendly sizes from small all the way up to 3X women's sizes, very generously fit, very great quality. I actually have on one of our pieces today. It's called the Cuffed Up. It's in gray, burgundy, and black, and olive. And it actually has a lot of stretch and give. So listen, in this time, we try to make sure that, first of all, it's quality and customer service that we offer our clients. And I'm so glad to have this opportunity to share with you. So go and visit us at DetroitCouture.com.
I want to go to you and Darren. I haven't heard from you. I don't know if I heard from Bilal. Did I hear aha moments? Any aha moments that you said, oh, I wasn't expecting that answer. I see it's a head shaking. Okay, go ahead, Darren.
Yeah, there were a few. Yeah, there were a few.
Okay. You care to share anything from those aha moments?
I wanted to share generally rather than specifically. That's why I kind of doubled back in. And so generally, I think that's the beauty of what, you know, conversation in close quarters presents. It's that opportunity to be intrigued and excited and interested.
I feel intrigue and excitement as you're speaking. I do.
Yeah, that's what that does, and it happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bilal or Tasha, any aha moments or general moments you can share with us?
Go ahead, Tasha, come on.
It was quite a few, but to know that It was one where he said, well, Bilal said he's not going back to his vulnerability. He don't show it. And it's funny because I don't show mine either. I really just start showing mine in front of my children, you know. And I was just wondering if that was just a male thing, but he helped me understand some things going on with my little male seed. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
You know, we also talked about, and I think about being famous. And I said, no, I don't want to be famous. Mm-hmm. And I think a couple of people's like, excuse me, you know, Valencia had the great answer, you know, famous versus being, what was the term? I'm trying to remember. Did you say legendary or famous versus being?
You're on mute.
Impactful.
Impactful, absolutely. Mm-hmm. So, and I think that tells a lot about the person, you know, who says that they want to be famous. You know, it's like, why do you want to be famous? Mm-hmm. You know, because impactful is a much better word, but I'm sure famous is used for a reason. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't need to be in the limelight, mm-hmm. you know, but certain people look at everybody probably on this panel and get some type of motivational, inspirational, whatever it is from just their presence, no matter if it's at your job or if it's at your church or what have you. So for me, you know, like I said no. You know, because I don't need to be in the limelight.
Okay.
So that was kind of an aha moment when we were talking.
Got it. Okay. So I don't want to give away answers. I do want to hear a little bit. I'm going to the set one. I'm interested to know, because you've already shared the ones that were kind of maybe aha to you. I'm just interested to know in set one, when the question asked if you could change anything about the way you were raised or reared, what would it be? What was that conversation like?
For me, that was the icebreaker, because answering that question meant that I was going to be able to share my heart, because that's a major question for me. For me, that question really needs to be a number 3 for me.
Okay.
But it being so early meant I had to share that. Mm-hmm. And why. That was not something I could just answer and not give the why.
Okay. Anybody else? Did that question bring interesting conversation?
Yeah, I agree with Valencia as far as it does make you open up more. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, like, say, for instance, if your upbringing was harsh or something like that, or it just makes you think, you know what I'm saying? It just makes you open up to a point where it actually, for me, it made me go into like, dang, is there anything that needed to be changed in my upbringing? And it actually made me appreciate some of the things that was done. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Did you find that you and Bilal had similar things, dissimilar things at that question?
Yeah. We both came from a spiritual background. Similar.
Okay.
Similar. Absolutely.
Okay. So you had similar things that you would want to have been done differently.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Christina, what about you? Darren, what about you? Did that question bring for you add anything special to the conversation?
I didn't get to that question. I'm sorry.
Okay. So I might have to get you another one in that set. Darren, did you hear the question?
I did. And I concur with everybody who's shared on that, because that was one of the questions, and it is in set one. That's one of the questions that for me was like, you know, I wasn't waiting till set 3 to get deep. That was deep. And our answers were not just similar, it was the same answer.
Got it. Let me ask you this. If it was someone that you had not really connected to at this point, would you be trying to escape this conversation if it's something deep, or would you still be trying to go forward?
Because that question is something I've had to really come to grips with and know why I have that issue, it wouldn't have been a problem with a stranger on the street for me to answer that question. Now, maybe to get into the depths of the why may have taken a moment, but just to answer the question, hands down, that answer would be the same no matter who answered it. Asked it.
And is there any question in set 1 that you would have never asked a stranger on the street?
Yep.
Yep. Hold on.
What's that?
Do you have a secret hunch about how you will die?
Oh, that's one of my favorite questions.
But let me back up right quick and say this though, that coming to the question about changing anything about the way you were raised, for me, the 2 questions preceding it directly were open up questions too.
Mm-hmm.
So that by the time I got to if changing anything,
Mm-hmm.
I was already open.
Okay.
I was already there.
Okay, very good.
And then by the time you get to the question after that one, then you got to talk for 4 minutes.
Okay.
That on the, yeah.
Okay. So Christine, I'm going to you because I'm trying to make the viewers be like, what's question number? Yeah, I want you to do that, viewers, because I want you to be involved in this process. So you can inbox us at Love and Stuff if you want to be involved in this process. It's a great process and great people in the community. Christine, in your section, set 1, did you jump to the question, when did you last sing to yourself?
We did the What Would You Like to Be Famous?
So you didn't do when did you last sing to yourself?
We did.
We did what the one, okay.
Christina,
What would constitute a first date? Yes.
Christina. You didn't do when did you last sing to yourself?
No.
Okay. Did you do for what in your life do you feel most grateful?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And the what in your life do you feel most grateful? Is it a what or is it a who?
It was a who.
Would it have mattered to anybody in this room if it was a what versus who?
I would say no.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay.
No, but I did appreciate that it was a who because of who it was.
Okay.
So,
all right. Darren, would it matter what or who?
Her response was a what or who? Would that matter to me?
Yes.
No, not at all.
Okay. I'm going to set 2. Thank you so much for that, Christina. Thank you very much. In set 2, I think this is the one that Tasha said skip. What is your most terrible memory? Did anybody else skip that besides Tasha and Bilal? Everybody else answered it? Christina, you didn't answer it.
I'm sorry, we had a little bit of time. We didn't get to that one.
You didn't get to that one. You kind of went to
we got to the ones above it.
Got it. Okay. All right. So, okay. All right. Okay.
But I wouldn't have a problem answering it. Just
got it. Okay. The question in set 2, I don't know if you guys got to this. How close and warm is your family? Do you feel your childhood was happier than most people's? Did you all get to that one?
Christina and I did not, no.
Okay. The rest of you, did everybody else get to it?
Did not.
Did not.
We had kind of, the reason is because we had kind of answered it earlier. So we didn't ask the question, but I could answer that question based on whatever else we talked to about him.
Absolutely.
And vice versa.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay. And then in section 3, and again, viewers, I want you to, Karen has pinned so graciously a link where you can get to the questions, but I certainly want you to inbox me at the Love and Stuff page or Marcus R. Holmes if you choose, and tell me how you'd like to be involved in this experiment. I think I'm having a blast. I hope my guests have as well. Okay. The other question I wanted to ask you about, and then I'm going to stop asking questions and do a little more listening. What, if anything, is too serious to be joked about? How did that conversation go? What, if anything, is too serious to be joked about? How did that go?
Oh, Bilal.
You're gonna throw me out there. So I didn't get to that question with Christina or Tasha because of the limited time, but Valencia and I did. And we both pretty much.
Wait a minute, let me make sure. You and Tasha have more time though, right?
Oh, we didn't.
Y'all just didn't follow directions well. Y'all had a full hour.
Bruh, I didn't even get.
What was y'all doing in that room?
I don't know. I still don't know about the cinnamon buns. So, you know.
What was y'all doing in that room that you couldn't get to the
questions?
Top to bottom, left to right, what happened?
I think each set of questions need like 30 minutes. So that's an hour and a half.
But if you know you have an hour.
But you know, but again, this is the first time. I wasn't trying to rush, you know, the answers.
I understand, but Tasha wasn't your first time. She wasn't your first person.
Well, you know, you put them with Miss Talker the chatting, so.
Okay, so basically, I have to supervise a breakout room to make sure y'all complete it. You got to complete.
Pretty good.
Well, pretty good is the goal. No, the goal is to complete it. Yep, that's the goal. And so I want you to ask all the questions, so across the board we can get everybody's, you know, a real robust response from everybody on every question. Because I really, as I said, I want to see if the question, and I think I'm getting a good sense that the questions are good questions and they kind of do what they say they're going to do. They kind of open you up as you go. And to Darren's point earlier, hey, 2 of the questions before the one that I was interested in already made him, you know, apt to answer the other questions. And Valencia said, hey, we answered that question earlier, a later question. So, you know, it seems to be kind of pervasive throughout. So that, you know, but I need everybody all to do the same thing, right? Okay, I just want to reiterate that for the next round, so we won't come out of the break room saying, I only got to set 2, number 3, because we had so much to talk about. You got to put a pin in that. Then you know what? Y'all can get on a messenger video and talk till nobody, because they can't record that either. Talk till nobody can see it, right? But for the purposes of a research, we got to kind of complete the exam, kind of, sort of. Okay, so help me out. Help me.
And I'll stay on task. That was the point.
I understand. So, and Jay Gerald is saying, no, you're not the room monitor. This from the person who's not in the room. I love it. Where else but loving stuff? Where else but loving stuff? Okay, Carolyn, loving my single Arlie. Thank you so much for coming. Willie Rogers, thank you for coming. I hope you will click share. We're talking to Valencia, Darren, Tasha, Bilal, and Christina about 36 questions that lead to love. And listen, I got hope based on what I'm hearing from them that you can take these questions, even with somebody that you're not familiar with, and ask these questions and maybe learn more about them and yourself, which I think is a great start if you're going to head toward love, right? I don't think you're going to really love anybody or anything that you don't know, right? I think there's a knowledge base to it. Yes, sir.
How can you put a time limit on love and stuff?
Well, let me tell you why. Because love, who is eternal, stepped into time. And he set up a time frame. So you and I are going to abide by it because we are not eternal.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You got extra and Christina.
That's how we're going to do that. We're going to step on in the time and just keep moving. I love that you're having robust conversations, but I really want to be able to glean that you got how wide are the variances in the information, and you know, so just help me out and try to get through it. So Tasha, when you talk to Darren next time, please, you know, Don't chatty Cathy, though both of you, you know, he's a preacher, so he can take a text and a subtext and extra points. So you just got to keep it moving. So now, preacher, you know, we got a task, so I'm gonna get you to the amen. Throwing the amen in there, he'll go to the next point. You see what I'm saying? You got to keep it moving. Bilal, you got to keep it moving. You got to keep it moving. All right, nothing but love for you. You know, I love you. Okay. So that threw me off my train of thought. See there?
We'll be off too.
I'm going and going. Okay, so here's what I want to know. Do you think that these are questions that have opened you up a little bit more to the person that you were in the room with, more than maybe you were before you entered the room? And that doesn't mean that you're in love and you're hoping that this is going to be the love connection. That wasn't the point. Are you more open to that person having more conversation, coffee, dinner, dialogue, whatever it is? Are you open to more with that person?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Couple yeses, couple shakes of heads.
That's that language different.
Yeah, it is.
And of course, now when you ask that question, Marcus,
yes,
then apparently matchmaking seems to take the shape of this experiment.
Well, the experiment is whether or not there is instantaneous intimacy among strangers. So I didn't put in the room a mix of people who I thought would connect. I put in the room people in Love and Stuff who I thought would show up and participate. And some of the other people proved me right. They didn't show up or participate, right? But you did. And that's who I invited. I didn't invite everybody in Love and Stuff because everybody doesn't always show up for me. I'll be honest. So I asked people who I thought, you know what, I'll show up, I'll try it. I asked people who would be willing, not so much would they be partnered. And my goal was that everybody would rotate. So any match to be made is either the test or the chemistry between the two people. It is not the choice of Love and Stuff. If I'm going to do a matchmaking, I'm not gonna put this many people in the room for it. I'm gonna do it the way that we've been doing it, that Jay Gerald is supposed to help us with. We got you filling out surveys. And then we're going to, from that survey, have you do a more in-depth survey, and then pair you with people for the in-person Love and Stuff that we're going to do once things, the pandemic blows over. That was our plan for pairing. We would do surveys, find out your interest, and then do a more intimate survey, and then pair people for speed dating and that kind of thing. This was, let's see who's willing to participate and rotate everybody to everybody and then see. So.
And that was not complaint, that was observation, not at all complaint. But I now feel checked kinda gently.
As gently as I know how to from Detroit.
Kinda.
That's the stuff in love. That's the Detroit stuff in love. You know, it's kind of like, I said I wasn't matchmaking, y'all. So I don't know why you trying to flip that like I was, because I said from the beginning when I first told Tasha that I wasn't matchmaking up in this piece.
And stuff.
And stuff.
Got it.
Period, Paul.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying. No, I really am not. In my mind, sure, there are people in the Love and Stuff community that I think make great matches. Absolutely. And while I want people to broaden their thought around Love and Stuff, it's not just the love of husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, boo and bae. I'm interested in seeing people grow and develop their relationships with their siblings and their parents and their coworkers and their ex-wives and ex-husbands and their children and their grandchildren. All of those love relationships, I think, have stuff that we need to work through to up our love game. But I wanted to just say, for this, I was fascinated that two people, young people, college students, psychology students would fall in love and get married and say, hey, let's synthesize what we really asked each other and build questions and then do a whole research project. And then it get accepted by, in general, and published in the journal. And then 30 years later, it goes viral. So then it's a whole different generation that's now fascinated by it. I said, hey, I wonder, is this something that could be used in the community? Really, that was what it was.
I think that, go on, Tasha. No, because I talk more than you. Go for it.
Oh, I was just going to say, for those who's out there that's listening to us that might want to try it, you know, in the beginning, I thought it was Marcus matching up people because he's just, he does that sometimes. But I was just looking at the fact once I did it, it was a joy just to not so much as answer the questions, but just talking to somebody else. And that's just, yes, I talk a lot, but I'm also shy. So it was just a joy just to try this, just to see how it was, and just to see that these questions can work if you are out there trying to date or meet somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I just want to say that.
Let me hop in right before Valencia and say, brothers, Tasha's not really shy. She's introverted. She's fueled by her time away from people, but she's more ambiverted because she also is fueled by people. So we were saying that earlier when she and I were talking, she's a massage therapist by trade. So sometimes the people that she's giving massages to are saying, I just came for peace and quiet. That's not an introvert. That's an ambivert because you're fueled by your time away from people. And that's really, so probably not shy if you're doing that level of talking, which you have always been a talker.
Yeah, but what I meant by shy, when it comes to me, like getting to, I'll flirt all day long, but just to like stand out there to like get to meeting somebody, I'm very shy.
Yeah, I think that's, you know, I'm putting you on blast a little, but you know I love you. I think
I understand.
That's a worthiness issue. You haven't come into the wealth of the beauty of Tasha. And that's all I think that is. I think
Tasha is gorgeous.
I think you'll cure that you'll cure that. Another show. We'll have to get the ladies together, Valencia and the other ladies together to help you walk more in all of the worthy that is Tasha. All of that worthy of that is Tasha. Then you won't call it shy. I think what you're calling it is you're afraid to be vulnerable because of the things that you've experienced. And that's fair, but you don't have to stay there because you're beautiful and you don't have to stay there.
Don't have to stay there.
You don't have to stay there. And I'm not saying that there are people in the world that have to stay there, but honestly, there are people who might have some aesthetics that we all might appreciate more than others.
Right.
Right. And so because you are blessed, you just have to come into the worthiness of that. That's all that is.
Sometimes people are not, it's a vulnerable thing, but sometimes opening up to someone, like we were saying, going deep or medium or high, you don't have that experience a lot. Like you were saying, you know, the experience sometimes will help you to say, oh, I've been there. Okay, I know how to answer these. I know how to go there and be deep. But if you haven't been challenged to do that, it's not always comfortable. And sometimes when it's not comfortable, you don't want to, you just say, I don't want to answer that. I don't want to do that, because now you have to really open up, and then you really have to let this person into your space. So it can be a little, I don't want to say intimidating, but you just like, do I open up to this person like that? Mm-hmm. Or do I just give them an answer, or I just say something to keep the conversation going? So, you know, I'm a talker, I'm a communicator, as you know, but I like to, like you were saying, like you want to really get to know somebody, but sometimes you don't want them all into yours. So it can be a challenge sometimes to be very open.
Yeah, and I think that that's good. For Tasha, though, I think and I'm hoping as a byproduct of this, is when you find that someone else is interested in you, it can awaken the worthiness in you. You're interested in me. And if it awakens that, I think that's a great byproduct of this. Because I think sometimes because we're not in that place as frequently, we lose sight of the worthiness of it. We think something's wrong with us because it's not happening more frequently. And so I'm hoping a byproduct of this for Tasha is that it awakens that worthiness part of her to say, oh, that part. And thank you, Valencia and Darren. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Marcus, I want to congratulate you on Love and Stuff. I really want you to know that staying grateful and understanding the power of what it is to be operating out of a space of abundance and gratitude is the most important part of every journey of every day. So Marcus June, congratulations on this book. It's on Amazon now. That makes me so proud of you and your family and me and my family, and every single person around us gets it. So good on you for bringing it into the hands and the laps and the Kindles of all the people. Okay, so we're gonna check it out. Can't wait to learn more.
Okay, so Valencia, you were going to say?
I was going to say, I don't remember. No, I was going to say that you were talking about the surveys and that kind of thing earlier. I'm not sure they would have done any better than this. Because surveys are surveys. They don't leave room for the reason people didn't get through the questions, which is that there was a repertoire, there was a rapport that was being established, and that led to a comment from the question. And so what surveys do is they force you into the box of answer the question. And it doesn't leave a lot of nuance room, and it doesn't leave room for thought, for sharing. And I think that questions like this, when people are willing, are able to tap into those things about themselves that let you see if there's a connection or not, so that you're not just dealing with data. I think we live in a data-driven society, and data can only get so far. And while data is important, analytics are important, all of those things are important, there's nothing quite like the chemistry that comes from human contact, even if it's across, a forum like Zoom.
Sure.
And like you said, whether things end up in a love connection or a mutual care for one another, knowing, like you say all the time, you know what? It ain't a connect with me, but let me tell you, I know the right person for you. But now I know you enough to say, I bet you that person and that person would get along just fine. They have the same drive. They have the same whatever. So I really think the questions are greater. I think those young people were onto something, because one, I'm very proud of the young man, and let me say that, who was willing to go through this list of questions with somebody, and to develop a list of questions like this with someone, because usually men are cut to the chase. And these require you to expand your internal horizon. And that's not always an easy place to be, especially when you're young. So, we're struggling with it at some time in. So,
Yeah. I do. So with the second set of survey, I think because it's going to be open-ended questions, it might yield something more, but I think you're right. This is, this seems to be yielding some good low-hanging fruit.
Low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Back to that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll try to, if everybody finishes this, ask all 36 questions, we'll try to compare that against the more in-depth survey data, qualitative data, to see, how are people answering these open-ended questions versus this. That'll be a great thing to compare. So see why it's important to answer all the questions. See why it's so important. Okay. Oh, Jay Gerald says, ain't no gentle with Marcus. See, why we got to fight? Why we got to fight? We got to fight. Okay, Vicki Johnson Williams has joined us. Thank you so much. And anyone else that has joined us, we are wrapping up what has been a great first step. We started out with a few more people than you see here, but we're going to double back to see if we're going to keep them on the roster, or we might have to fill their spot. So our goal is for everybody that you see here and a few more to all have one-on-one time in the break room. All the guys have one-on-one time with every girl, vice versa, and ask these 36 questions, all 36 of the questions in all 3 sections. They're going to ask each other the questions.
So I have a rules of the game question.
Yes.
I'm asking this for a friend. No, I'm just kidding. Is because we have not done that yet. Is it your instruction to us to not continue to have conversations with the people that we talked to today so that they can get to all the other people? Or does it matter to you?
What matters to me is that we maintain the less than familiarity, even though Darren is relatively familiar, he says, with most people. I wouldn't want, for instance, Valencia, you and Bilal to continue your conversation such that Bilal doesn't engage with anybody else.
That's why I asked you to discuss.
So as long as you are willing to be able to set aside whatever affection or affinity that you've developed with one person, so that you don't have the horns effect, we say in human resources, when you see another candidate and you say they're not measuring up to the last candidate, and then you don't go as in depth. If you're not a person that can do that, then you shouldn't continue conversations. But if you're a person who says, hey, I've made a connection, and I want to continue that connection, and I'm here for the process because I'm open now to hear about more people in this process. Wow, I didn't even know what I would get from the one person I got. Hey, I might get the same thing from somebody else. If you can do that, then you should continue the conversations. But if you can't, then you know, hey, we got to just wait until the end of the process, and then I'll give you a call. I Facebook you out.
Right.
Messenger you.
I just wanted you to say that aloud.
Yeah.
I figured that's where you were with it, but I wanted to make sure you were able to say that.
I'm all for you all having connections in the Love and Stuff community. But for this experiment, so long as it's not going to spoil the opportunity for you to have a robust and deep conversation with the next person, have at it. You know, it may bless your life. Okay. So praise him. Praise is all right in the room. Praise is all right in the room.
Trying to get blessed in my life.
Yes. Yeah.
Christina looking for a man. I'm just saying, I'll be out there. I'm not afraid to shoot my shot, as you say, Marcus.
Here's what I want you to position that ball just right.
On time though.
Here's what I know, or what I believe I know walking out of this. These are some good questions.
They are.
And they got you thinking, and they have you open, and maybe even for at least one of you, open to the possibility of your own worthiness needs to be brought up. And if it does any of all of that, it's a good question.
It's been successful.
It is.
And it's something that you might share, I might share, Love and Stuff might share with other people. If for nothing else, the awakening of the journey of finding out more about another person that pricks you about you, it's worth the journey. And I think that many of you have gleaned more than that already, and this is just part one. So I am with tiptoe anticipation for part two to see how it happens with the other folks that are kind of sort of missing. And for those of you that are viewing, if you want to be a part of the part two, who knows? If you inbox me at the Love and Stuff inbox right now, or Marcus R. Holmes, and express your interest, We can get you into the break room. We'll talk to you a little bit about kind of the ground rules. Pretty simple. We don't want you to study the questions. We don't want you to look for an angle. We want you to bring your authentic self to the discussion or interaction and see what happens. Thank you so much, Valencia Etner. Thank you, Darren Williams. Thank you, Bilal Muhammad. Thank you, Tasha Green. And thank you, Christina Smith. And thank those of you that are watching and have watched. I hope you will click share, tag someone to join in this discussion. There are 36 questions that lead to love, and I hope that they're leading down a pathway of more self-love, more regard for the love of others, and maybe the regard for the love, like Christina says, that you are looking for. Join us next week. Of course, every day in this month, we are 365 Black. And we have a wide collective of ethnicities and nationalities and love and stuff, and we love and appreciate it. But this is Black History Month, of which we are proud that we're 365 days Black and excellent. But in this month, every evening at 7:00 p.m., we're going to have a Black History moment. And so we're inviting you to share in that moment and tag others. If you have someone that you want to highlight that for some reason has inspired you or uplifted you, or some small known fact that you want to share, inbox us at The Love and Stuff, and we'll find a way to include those among the many voices that will be lifted to acknowledge and laud the great accomplishments, the Black excellence, and the sacrifice that African Americans, people of African descent, people of color have made, that we are celebrating in this month. And so that's every evening, every day of the week at 7:00 p.m. We also on Valentine's Day have a very special presentation for you that afternoon at 4. We will have some of the folks in Love and Stuff have films, and we will have it's kind of a movie night, date night, if you will, a little bit of poetry, a little bit of music, and a couple of shorts. So you can go to the Love and Stuff page and sign up for that. What a great community to be in. What great people, as you see, just like the people before you, the only person that's missing is you. So share this and join the Love and Stuff community today by clicking share and follow and joining us on what is an exciting and extraordinary journey as we seek to love the creator that is love. The quintessential God is love. And he loved you so much and loved me so much that he stepped into time for us, right? But he wants us to reciprocate that love. And he wants us to love ourselves. And the way that we know that we're truly doing it is the way that we're going to love others. We're going to measure that love by how we love others. And so we want you to be plugged in to up your love game and join us in the Love and Stuff community, which is a great place to be. Thank you and have a great night. Appreciate you all.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Imagine a setting where two individuals, perhaps strangers or longtime partners, seeking to reignite their spark, are involved in a carefully constructed conversation. Beginning with seemingly simple inquiries, the dialogue gradually delves into more personal and thought-provoking territories, inviting the partners or participants to share their dreams, fears, and the intricacies of their inner worlds. 36 questions that lead to love are divided into 3 sets, each designed to escalate the level of intimacy and self-disclosure. Participants find themselves exploring topics as diverse as their most cherished memories, the quality they admire in others, and their aspirations for the future. This journey is not just about answering questions. It's about listening, truly listening to the other person's responses and discovering shared paths of understanding and empathy. The beauty of the 36 questions lies not only in the connections they foster, but also in their flexibility. They have been used to enhance romantic relationships, build friendships, and even bridge gaps between diverse groups, proving their power to create closeness and reduce prejudices. In the end, The 36 questions that lead to love offer more than just a path to intimacy. They invite us all to reflect on what it means to love and to be loved. So whether you're seeking to find or kindle a new romance, deepen an existing one, or understand the human heart a little better, these questions are a testament to the power of vulnerability and shared humanity. As you consider incorporating these questions into your life, remember that the journey toward love and intimacy is unique for everyone. Some may find love, while others discover a deeper understanding and appreciation for the people that they already love. Regardless of your personal outcome, the experience of sharing and listening with openness and honesty is a valued step toward building meaningful connections. We invite you in the Love and Stuff community to embark on a journey of intimacy and discovery with 36 questions that lead to love. A transformative experience designed to deepen connections and foster love. Inspired by the groundbreaking work of psychologist Arthur Aaron, these questions have captivated hearts and minds globally, proving that vulnerability and authentic communication can indeed pave the way to profound emotional closeness. For those interested in exploring these questions further and gaining detailed insights, we would love to share the complete list with you and have you participate with us. But you can look on other platforms such as Psychology Today, Marriage.com, and each of them also offer their unique perspective on how these questions and conversations impact relationships. This is Love and Stuff, and we hope that you are on a path to love.more.2024.